was pretty good. Breaking Bad, the last one?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Tell me you watched it.
Insane.
It was so intense.
Hey guys, I've got some kind of interesting news. You guys know that the American economy is really soft. It's been hard to run a business up here, so I've got something that we're gonna do. We're gonna move up to Canada.
Canada? Really? Oh my God.
Are you serious?
No.
Canada?
Canada.
Really?
Canada, the economy is much stronger, and there's a lot of reptile lovers. So you guys, you guys will love it there. Trust me, they're great people up there.
Whatever.
No, seriously, trust me, you guys are gonna love it there. It's a great country.
Their money is really
Their beer sucks.
Hey, Brian from SnakeBytes here. I'm in Toronto, Canada for the Canadian Reptile Breeders Expo. There's some amazing animals inside and I'm going to highlight them for you guys. You're watching SnakeBytes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start the show out with some boas. I'm at Slimebeard Exotics and he has some really cool stuff. I'm gonna start with the Roswell boa. Now this is a super version of a ladder tail boa, and as you can see, it's got a super cool pattern, just completely patternless belly and connected lines on the side. It's definitely a really cool snake. He has a few other boas I wanna show you right now. The next boa I want to show you are the leopard boas. Now you've seen some of my leopards back at the shop, but I tell you what, they're really polymorphic. Each one of them looks completely different than the other. Now they're a recessive mutation, but they're definitely super cool. And the thing I love the most about them is their jet black eyes. And you can see this guy, he's ready to take a pop shot right at my nose. I'm gonna back up a little bit, but look at this little beauty. And finally, there's this paradox snow boa. Now, snows are actually an albino aneurystic, but this happens to have some of the aneurystic color bleeding through, and that's the paradoxing. Now, typically, paradoxing is something that doesn't pass down traits, but makes animals look super cool. And what's really cool about most paradox albino boas, or snow boas in this fact, is that their eyes seem to be a little bit different color. Sometimes you'll have a red eye and then a black eye. This is just a cool animal.
Which rattlesnake used to be found in Canada, but now no longer is endemic there? A. Timber rattlesnake, B. Massasauga rattlesnake, or C. Western diamondback? Go ahead and answer down below in the comments and check back later in the show to see if you're correct.
This week's Reptile Report Spotlight is Snakes Forum. Go ahead and check out the URL down below or click on the link in the description. I tell you what, sticking with the boa, one of my favorite boas are these Solomon Island boas. Now let me tell you a little story. The first live bearer snake I ever produced happened to be these. These are Candoia carinata, and they have about 15 to 20 little tiny babies. Unfortunately, the babies are really tricky to get to eat, and typically you have to either assist feed them or feed them lizards the first 2 or 3 months. But once they start feeding, they grow like crazy, and I absolutely love those little shovel heads. It's so awesome to see one of these at this show. Now these are some incredible lizards. These are actually a knobtail gecko from Australia. It's a Nephrus wheeleri, and they're really one of the hardiest of the knobtail geckos. These guys are gonna get 4 to 5 inches, and they'll have 2 eggs at a time, and they're almost as prolific as a leopard gecko. They're really an amazing animal. Here's another knobtail gecko, but this is a Nephrus amii. Now they're gonna get a little bit larger, but they're not nearly as prolific as the wheeleri. You're only gonna get about 6 eggs per year from these guys. Now all of the knobtail geckos are typically gonna be kept on sand or paper, and they're really just insectivores, so they're gonna eat crickets and maybe some mealworms. But these guys are cute, and they're definitely a lot more feisty than the wheeleri. I've absolutely loved chameleons my whole life. It's just so cool how they have that independent eye thing where one eye can be looking one way, the other eye can be looking the other way. And they've got that really cool prehensile tail, but certainly all chameleons are known by that long tongue. An animal this size, believe it or not, can shoot its tongue 12 to 15 inches out to snatch an insect. This happens to be a panther chameleon or a pardalis. What a beauty it is. Now this is an amazing animal right here. It's a Pilbara rock monitor or a dwarf monitor from Australia. And it's one of the animals that's really vibrant in color. As a matter of fact, some people call him the peacock of the monitor world. And believe it or not, this guy is an adult male. That's right, they only get this large. What an incredibly cool animal. But don't get me wrong, they're still a monitor, which means they've got a voracious appetite. They're gonna eat insects and even small mammals. They're just such cool lizards. They're gonna produce 4 to 6 clutches a year, anywhere up to 8 eggs. So they're relatively prolific animals, but man, that's one cool monitor lizard. This is another dwarf monitor, and it happens to be one of my favorite of the dwarf monitors. This is an Acanthurus, and this happens to be a red Ackie, which means that they're really vibrantly red colored. Now they're gonna get bigger than the Pilbaras, and the fact that they're probably gonna get about 10 to 12 inches body length and another 10 or 12 inches with their tail. And you can see, sometimes they're called spiny tail monitors because they're really spiny. Again, they're gonna have 4 to 6 clutches of about 7 eggs apiece, so they're relatively prolific. But again, it's amazing to see a little monitor this big that acts just like the monster big monitors, but in a little dwarf form. What a cool animal. This is a lizard that certainly catches your eye when you walk by a table. It's called a fire skink. Now this is pretty much an adult-sized animal here, and they're relatively easy to care for. They don't take a lot of heat or humidity, and they're really just insectivores. They're also live bearers, with having a handful of live young every spring. I tell you what, for a relatively common skink, they sure are beautiful. So this is what I think of when I think of a really cool tame monitor lizard. It happens to be a water monitor, and for whatever reason, the water monitors seem to be one of the tamest of the really large lizards. Now this is a female, and I've been told she's had a bunch of eggs, so she's getting up there in age. But as you can see, she's super tame. Now the thing that's really cool is not only do they have that long forked tongue, but also you can see that the nostrils are on the very top of the nose. Now that's because they spend a lot of time in the water, and they obviously need to breathe. But these are also really adept climbers as well. And although she's a hefty animal, I tell you what, she is just puppy dog tame. What a sweet, sweet lizard. You never know what you're gonna run into when you're at a reptile show. And this little boomer here is a pretty good example of a cool animal that you won't see too often at any reptile show. This is a red kangaroo, and his name is Dallas. He's 1.5 years old. Now I've messed with some red kangaroos down in Australia, so I know this guy's gonna get pretty big, probably a good 4.5 to 6 feet long. But you can see at this age, they're super, super tame. And again, they have that super strong tail and those really strong arms. But at this size, they're not dangerous at all. They're not gonna kick you or box with you. But what a cute little animal, huh? I'm at my good friend Mark Mandick from Marcus Jane Ball Python, and I want to just showcase a handful of cool ball pythons that I've seen at the show, and his table certainly takes the cake. This happens to be an axanthic piebald ball python. Again, it's just a double recessive mutation, the axanthic that just basically strips away the red and yellow pigment, and then of course piebald. But those two genes put together are truly phenomenal. This is a super pastel super stripe, and it's really unique because normally the super stripes have a lot of striping on them, and this one's pattern is completely blown out. So again, what you have here is a super pastel spectre yellow belly that's obviously extremely feisty. Woo! What are you doing, little guy? In the ball python world, we're often going for really complicated crosses. And the truth is, sometimes some very simple ones make some incredibly beautiful animals. This happens to be a vanilla fire cine, and you can see those 3 codominant mutations put together make for a beautiful snake. What we have here is an animal that's one step further than that last fire vanilla cine. It happens to be a fire fly vanilla cine, which basically just means it's a pastel gene added on. You can see how it completely takes on a different color. I tell you what, I'm really loving this faint patterning, but still has that nice black outlining on it. This is a cool snake.
Hey guys, you know we're up in Canada for this week's show. Now when I hear Canada, I think hockey. I love hockey. I want to know, what comes to mind when you think of Canada? Leave a comment below and let us know.
Which rattlesnake used to be found in Canada but now no longer is endemic there? If you said A, timber rattlesnake, you're 100% correct. Good job.
Oh, it's blowing a gale out there, eh?
Joshy, you gotta park your car in the crotch. It's cold out there, eh?
Yeah, you're right.
Hey guys, I brought Timmy home.
Timbit. Hey, Jamie,
Yeah.
pass me the maple syrup, eh?
You get my poutine?
No, I didn't, sorry.
Oh my.
Hey, what do you guys say we go get some beer and do some curling?
All right, guys, before you get too excited, first off, where the hell did that accent come from? And secondly, guys, we're moving back to the States, I'm sorry to say.
Come on!
No,
I just learned how to use a trapdoor on these things.
no, no.
There it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. It certainly was an amazing time to see such incredible animals, but what more impressed me was how awesome all the people were here. I hope you guys enjoyed the show as much as I enjoyed showing it to you. And if you want to follow any of my animal adventures, make sure to hit me up over on Facebook and Twitter at SnakeBytesTV. Until next week, you've been watching Snake Bites.